Hello there, Sir from 17 once again. This is my Call of Juarez, bound in blood, very hard, difficulty walkthrough. This is the final act of the game. My faith is my shield, and we're beginning as Thomas, a character that we haven't played as in this game. We've picked Ray almost universally, but this is a mission you have to pick Thomas. And you'll notice we don't have the caliber of guns we had in the other one, and we also don't have the ability to take damage like we do when we play as Ray, which I'm beginning to think is legitimately a thing, because this guy dies like a bitch, and I remember this game being very difficult, and I think one of the reasons I remember it being so difficult is because I played the whole game as Thomas, because I didn't like Ray, and I don't know if I should have played the full game as Thomas just to make it that little bit more challenging, but I'm glad I did it the way I did it, purely because I had a lot of fun doing it, and I hope you've had a lot of fun watching it too. But there are moments as this character where he does take a decent amount of damage. It might just be the RNG of the bullet damage, I'm not certain. And I mentioned on the very first video that I did do some googling to see whether or not you do take more damage as Thomas. But the stuff I found wasn't conclusive. It just says that Ray is better at close quarters and he's tougher, but it doesn't really say whether or not that manifests into the game. And I watched a little bit of a speedrun hoping that it would be somebody that knew everything about the game and was, you know, super 24-karat autismo, but they didn't have any commentary, so I didn't get any insights, unfortunately. Because say what you want about speedrunners, they generally have a really good wealth of knowledge when it comes to the game, because they've just put in so much time, and they can be invaluable for learning things that you might not be able to learn in a decent, you know, time window. But once you've killed enough people, guys, come over to the barn. It's going to give you a checkpoint, and then after the checkpoint, you're going to be tasked to get 3 horses. And this is literally, go get a horse, gallop it all the way back to the barn, get a checkpoint, go get a horse, do the same thing, do the same thing. And this is where this level is really, really difficult. You die so fast, and the enemies are so sporadic and capricious in where they are and what they do, that I don't really even know where they are or what they're doing, you know? They're just random to a point where it can be really dangerous. And all I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try my best to go back and forth, zigzag strafe, AD strafe, to try not to get hit by aimbot machines and try and put them down quickly with the rifle. I'm going to hopefully have a measure of success. But like, look at it, like, where are these people coming from? Luckily, we have this bulletproof tent, because as the US military has learned over all of its years of, you know, waging war in foreign countries and on its own domestic soil, that if we create armour from the canvas of a tent, you will never take bullet damage ever. That's what Call of Juarez teaches us. Another guy on that roof as well. But look at the damage I'm taking. I have to be real careful. Fortunately, this section's not really meant to be done clearing out all the enemies and then going for the horse, I don't think, because when you do that, it just seems really difficult. But if you bum rush the horses, you can get through this section quite easily. But that guy doing whatever he's doing, that guy's waiting on me, doing his nice strafing action. The strafing speed in this game really did need adjusting. You might notice I don't aim and move a lot, because there's just no reason to do it, purely based on how bad the movement is. If the movement was better, it would definitely afford more strategy when it comes to duking, but you can only really do it from the hip, and even then it's pretty damn slow. But there's the first horse. I don't know if there's an optimum path of horses to pick that gives you the path of least resistance. I'm just going to make it up as I go along, but as soon as you're on the horse, guys, just gallop. Gallop for everything you're worth, get in here, get off it, it's a checkpoint. It'll fade to black, give you control, and then you're just going to repeat the same thing. The second horse seems to be the easiest one, because for whatever reason, the enemies that you killed on the first horse haven't been replenished or called for backups or done whatever it is they do, and the only escalation that happens is when you get towards this rooftop here. 2 guys are going to run from the left. You can see me angling for them, these guys. And unfortunately, I'm not very good with the rifle, so I end up missing a ton of shots. But those 2 guys are the only real threat at that point. There's a couple others just lingering, but now we're on the horse, just bomb it. Absolutely, straight up. Vin Diesel, Fast and the Furious, the shit off it, get back into the barn. And then this one is usually, from the times that I've done this level, the third one seems to be the most dangerous. Hopefully this won't be too bad. So I go towards the building, I go under this balcony. You can hear the people everywhere, that's the problem. Like, you can just kind of hear dudes all over the place, and you have no idea how safe you are. I pick up a hybrid gun then, just because it's a little bit stronger than one of the guns I was carrying, I think, but it isn't stronger than both of them, so I end up going back on that decision. I kill the first guy that you saw, and then there's another guy around this corner, and there's one more guy around the corner, and then there's a guy to his right. But you see that? One bullet we trade, and I'm one bullet away from death. So you've got to really, really just be tentative. And that guy again, boom, a headshot or something. So much damage. Thomas does seem to regenerate pretty quick, which is nice. Another guy there. Thankfully, he didn't fire. He hesitated, and I got quite lucky. But this is the one where if you're going to die, I feel like it's going for this horse. As soon as you get on the horse, though, just book it. I'm going to roadkill one guy. This was the only instance on the practice run that I did where it spawned another guy, or there was a guy behind me when I was doing this, but there's this guy, and I just ran through him, thankfully. Another guy shoots at me, but the moment you do that, it's the end of the mission as Thomas. There's just going to be this little standoff, and then you have to do a quick draw moment. So at the beginning, pick up the bucket, chuck the fire onto the hay, and then you've got to kill these dudes in the doorway. So there's quite a few of them. There's about 3 or 4 gentlemen waiting for us, and I couldn't even tell you what shot me then. The first bullet, I didn't see anybody, and then the guy on the left casually strolled across, but that was a dangerous moment because I almost died. It was probably him if I had to guess. Guy on the roof. That strategy just then doesn't look that neat because you miss a lot unless you're really, really good at it. But backing in and out of cover like that, hip firing, pretty advantageous when it comes to being evasive and putting down the enemies. But just wait for that regen. Pop around the corner. Another guy over there with immaculate aim. Another guy hits me too. Really close right now to seeing what lies beyond. Rifles back on. Low ammunition. What a wonderful message that is on the hood perpetually. One guy moves to the left. Put him down. Another guy on the right. Put him down. See what I mean? The rifle with Thomas is so good. And then as soon as it crosses out the objective, all you have to do now is wait for the game to fade to black, and we have a gunslinger moment. And then we get to play as Ray. And Ray's segment is, there's a lot of enemies, and it's very dangerous, but Ray is so strong that you just wreck everybody with double volcanoes. And then we have a boss fight coming up, which is a bit of a pain in the ass, but hopefully I'll be able to guide you through that. And here we go. Man with moustache who likes to move around a lot. So one of the things I do, guys, when I get a bit frustrated with these moments, I just stand there and let them do all the moving. And then on the second or third move, I then line them up. I don't recommend doing that personally because the amount of times when I've not had time to line them up and they've pulled and I've not even had them on the screen, so I have no chance of winning, is pretty damn high. But it's a mechanic that works better in different Western games. I don't know if it was Red Dead Revolver that did it best, but there's a particular Western game that I remember having that in. It might have even been Red Dead Redemption, but it was just a much better mechanic. Because in Red Dead... can't even use words today, Jesus. In Red Dead Redemption, you could challenge anybody, right, to do the quick draw, or at least anybody with a gun. And I think in that game it was actually pretty fun. I don't think I did it once in Red Dead Redemption 2. I have no idea what I fucked up then, but... I'm not too burned by that notion. It's just the way that game kind of played for me. But on this segment, there is a lot of people as you move through these cramped and crowded corridors. But the guns that I'm using here, and especially when you start using Deadeye appropriately to catch people that are trying to catch you. There's a lantern, be careful of that. I haven't spoke about the lanterns. They're improvised grenades, essentially. You can pick them up, you can toss them, they leave some fire behind, some area of denial, and they do decent damage. I don't really think that they're all that necessary, but if you want to just be creative and be diverse with your offense, you can use them. They remind me of kind of shitter versions of the fire extinguishers from Kane and Lynch. But then again, the fire extinguishers existed in Kane and Lynch because you didn't have access to grenades. The developers wanted you to have a grenade-like tool, but they didn't have a justification for a bunch of criminals to be carrying grenades. And I suppose rather mercifully, they didn't want criminals to be using grenades in urban environments when you're moving between people's houses and stuff, and crowded streets and what have you. That's another thing I haven't spoke about, but did you see that crate that I just opened? You'll notice a lot of square crates in this game, but you get to see the ones that are significant. The secrets in these levels are almost always in those crates. On the Native American levels, they will be on top of like a wicker basket that's been braided and threaded and has got all kinds of colours on them. But I was surprised just how much it was quite easy to spot them and to find the places where the devs put them. And I'm a really big fan when it comes to collectibles that you don't have to kill your fucking self to find. And I suppose I could talk about that a little bit. I don't mind collectibles that are hard to find when there aren't many of them. Conversely, I don't mind collectibles that are quite plentiful, but there is a way to find them, or they are like naturally and organically scattered through the world where most players will be able to stumble on them if they have a brain and some eyes. What I have massive problems with is when they piss those streams together in some way. I don't like millions of really hard to find collectibles. I find that to just be stupid. Like, collectibles themselves now have become a way for developers to say that their game has length when it doesn't. You know, the confusing tedium with something that we actually want to do. Like, look at that box. How easy was that to see? A solitary box in a corner that has a very, like, specific shape and pattern on it that tells me inside there is a secret. It's just done really well. Like, in games nowadays, usually, they give you a tool to find the collectibles, and I really appreciate that, because if you don't want that, and you're a purist who likes to spend 900 years scouring a fucking field with a comb, you can do that. You can choose not to use that tool. But for people that want to find the shit and don't like doing it, and are doing it for some kind of collectible or unlockable or some nonsense, give them the tool. Right now, I opened that door because there's a huge firefight here, but it's not meant to be contested because you're meant to go the other way. And I died a few times trying to win that fight, believe it or not, but it just didn't seem very much worthwhile, so when I respawned in, I just ignored it and then continued on with the game the way the game wants you to do so. And then the next two sequences coming up are quite dangerous because they can kill you really quick as well. It's just the moral of the story, guys. It doesn't look like it's that difficult, but all the times you didn't see where I died, it got difficult real quick. But the Shadow Warrior walkthrough I made, I've been playing a decent amount of Shadow Warrior 2 again, and there's secrets in that game. I picked a few of them up on the walkthrough. I would have loved to showed you all the secrets in that game, because I like that game so much. But there's fucking dozens of them, hundreds of them. There's an achievement for getting 50 secrets, right? And that's not all the secrets. There are more than the achievement requires you to find. And in my time of beating that game like 5 or 6 times, I think I've found 6 of those things. Because not only are they quite well hidden, but they're just this tiny statue that doesn't really have that much telegraphing. The only real telegraphing that you need a secret is there's a symbol of the Shadow Warrior 2 logo that's like painted graffiti onto the wall. And I honestly had never seen the bloody thing until the other night. And I've been playing that game for a year. Like, I'd never even seen it. And that game has a map that puts everything on the map. Bullets, drops, enemies, healing stations, replenishment stations, like a million fucking things on the map. And then they don't have the secrets on the map. It even has a meditation mode that's like detective vision that heals you, but it doesn't show you where the secrets are. In all the games you would think that would have a way to find the fucking secrets, you would think it would be that one, because it's so arcadey and so fun. And everything in it has got a really nice eye for, will the player enjoy doing this? And then the secrets are just this arbitrary fetch quest, and they give you fuck all. They give you like $2,000. You can get $1 million bloody dollars by just playing the game. Why would you ever want to get the money that the secrets offer you? So you're doing it for the pedantic nature of doing it, so you can tick off some arbitrary box somewhere to feel like A, you're a completionist, or B, you've done everything in the game. But there's zero enjoyment to be had, because the way that the secrets were designed is just stupid. And I could understand, if it was like Doom, where the secrets in that game, they're plentiful, but the levels are quite short, and you can tick them off systematically, and the secrets actually mean something. You open a secret up in the classic Doom games, and you get a good new gun, or you get some super armor, or something beast. You don't find some miscellaneous statue that gives you fuck all. Like, it's the equivalent of Santa Claus coming at Christmas and bringing you coal. Nobody wants coal. And hopefully nobody gets coal, because I always thought that that was just one of those things that parents said, but apparently Darkside Phil got coal one Christmas, which is perhaps the only instance of justice that's happened in that dude's life. But keep on moving through these tunnels. These subterranean caves are going to lead to a boss fight coming up. The boss fight is, I think, 3 waves of enemies that will try to drop down, but if you throw the dynamite correctly, you'll kill them all before they do. I don't do that, guys, because this was one attempt. And then the boss will turn up, he'll talk a bunch, and then he'll come for you. And what I do is I hide next to like a rock formation on the right-hand side. and then I peek it until he comes around the side where I can see him and he can't shoot me, and then I hit him with my Deadeye vision, my concentration mode. If for some reason the concentration mode doesn't kill him, feel free to shoot him normally. He goes down quite quickly, but on my stream, I shot him with like 50 rounds from concentration mode and he killed me instead. So I feel like the detection on the damage on this moment's a bit weird. But wait for him to speak. When he stops speaking, it means the enemies are going to come. And then just throw all your dynamite in a staggered toss towards the cave entrance. And hopefully, you'll hit everybody that you need to hit. And there's just 3 dudes that are going to try to cause you some trouble. And see the dynamite that's getting thrown at me? That's the really awkward, annoying dynamite. This dude right here is the hardest man in all of Mexico. Because for some reason, he would not die with volcano guns blazing into his chest. And then right now, this is the rock of truth, the safety rock. Just peek around this corner. Do not overextend, though. This guy kills you so fast. Insanely fast. And the cool thing about this spot here is it seems like he has a lot of trouble landing the dynamite on you. If you stand anywhere else, it's just Dynamite City. But here, he has real trouble. And if you just peek around this corner, wait to see him. The moment you see him hit your ability, and then hopefully you can hit him a ton of times and he doesn't shoot you. But get ready to cancel it, because if you're in it too long, he'll just kill you. And then right there, see how the camera's on him and he's run away and he's talking? That tells you that this is the end of the fight. And then we go into the gun off, the ultimate quick draw competition against man who was friend and is now foe. And he walks around quite a decent amount, and I'm just going to stay quite stoic, and I'm going to stuff the volcano gun up his cunt, put him down. And there's a piece of dialogue on this sequence which I think is really funny, because we gut shoot that guy, he falls into water that's over his head, and then the priest is like, "Where did he go? Maybe he's still alive." And he might be talking about Thomas, and I'm not paying enough attention in this particular instance, but what are the chances that that guy's even remotely alive when he's in the fucking water with a gut shot drowning? Like, there's no chance. I don't care if Zeus comes down and saves him himself with his glorious beard and some kind of strange lightning-themed motif sneakers on. It just ain't happening for that guy. That's the end of the road for that man. And that's not mentioning usually when I win those quickfire rounds, I generally shoot them the bodies a few times because I'm annoyed at the quickfire rounds against them. But I got him 1 attempt. And I got the final boss 1 attempt as well, I think, which I was really happy about. But that was one of the hardest missions in the game, guys, that we just did. And then this is the finale. So all we have to do now is kill Barnsby and his men, and it's the end of the game. And this very first segment is this interesting-looking crypt filled with sarcophaguses, and we're just going to be popping out of cover and hitting them hard with the volcano guns. We're going to be causing some eruptions in people's chests, but it will not be magma or lava that spews forth, but the life vessels of these deluded fools following a madman into this ridiculous, like, Aztec Mayan temple thing wherever we are. This guy here should have killed me. I have no idea how I lived through that. Once again, though, guys, this was 1 attempt. I didn't die at all on this segment. And that could sometimes be a bad thing for a guide. As much as it sounds like I'm tooting my own horn, it's really not. If you see footage that doesn't look as sharp as it could look, it usually means that I got it quickly. Like, one of the cool things about having to repeat something is you learn the line, you learn the flow, and you can just treat it like a racing game and get that perfect lap. But I'm going to reload my stuff, peek around this corner. These guys, if you give them the chance, they'll kill you really quickly. Luckily, I kill them just as fast as they kill me, and these guns are pretty damn consistent. But the segment coming up is actually pretty damn tough. The final boss in this game is really hard because it's environmentally challenging. So you're going to be forced to go up a spiral corridor on a bad checkpoint, and there are 2 soldiers that are going to give you a tough time and can almost kill you before you get to the boss. Once you kill those 2 people, you have to kill a sequence of enemies while the final boss throws dynamite at you. And then after a while, once you've killed the right amount of enemies, or dealt damage to the boss, or a combination of the 2, the woman who is captive up there, she's going to gradually sneak away from where she's been held captive, and it means that you're at the end of the game and you can do the final gunfight. However, getting to that point can be a problem, because if you go all the way up the stairs, you are then on this circular platform with a pillar that you have to peek around, where there's a bunch of dudes shooting you that kill you really quickly because they can easily shoot you. I've gone the wrong way, by the way, here, guys, if you're wondering. I'm supposed to go up the other side. That's the reason why Thomas is shouting at me. And I thought it was really funny that it let me do that, because usually a game wouldn't let you go that far up the wrong way. But this one did, so kudos to that. And there's going to be a guy that cheap shots you here, so be careful of him. And then right now, above you, there is a platform where a guy will shoot down on you, just behind me here. And you can shoot him prematurely if you want to. There he is. Or you can wait. It's up to you. He'll kill you instantly if he wants to, because he's a bit of a dickhead. But the problem here is, not only will you fall off this platform if you go all the way to the top of it, but if he throws dynamite and you have to run around the front of it, you'll just get shot by the people waiting. So what I'm going to do, guys, is, do you see this cheeky lip right here? This cheeky lip is perfect cover. If you come out of a crouch, you have a wonderful head glitch that lets you shoot directly to where the boss is, over there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some shots on the boss just to tick that arbitrary box. And then I'm going to go up to the top, trigger the spawns, and I'm going to come back to this position and use this position to kill the people. Because right now, he cannot land dynamite on me, because he will try to shoot me instead, which is really, really useful for me, because the dynamite's the hardest part about this. And then when the troops turn up, I can kill them really quickly, because I have a really strong position, and they will move into position before they engage me. And if they do engage me, they can't kill me, because all they can see is a very small percentage of my hitbox, and then I can hide it when I take too much damage. But I'm just going to put some shots in this guy, just to make sure. And then I'm going to probably move up to trigger the next segment. You'll notice the girl is moving back and forth. She's very animated in this moment. There's me hitting the boss again. I've got lots and lots of ammo, so I'm not too worried about this. But in all honesty, guys, I don't know the trigger here. I don't know if it's the people that you kill, or if it's the bullets you put on the boss, or if it's both. It's just one of those moments where he hides for longer and longer and longer, and that's what decides to make me move. So I'm just playing the patient game. You come to me, buddy. I'm going to put you down. And then he doesn't. So that's when I step up. The moment you trigger the dudes, you want to get back to where you were. And I didn't move up high enough just then to trigger it, so I have to do it again. Be careful, though, because you can fall. It's kind of awkward. You have to stand up the top. That wasn't enough. That's enough. Right now, boom. See when that drops down and breaks the bridge? That means that the dudes are going to come. These are the people that we have to kill. So do you see that dude? Pre-firing me perfectly around a corner. This is Modern Warfare multiplayer, a short glimpse of that fun shitfest. And then once you pop up, there should be another two guys. The guy just over there, clip his head, see you later. And there should be one guy on the right. So a couple more guys spawning here. They all spawned in a nice pile, so we can put them down with double volcanoes. There's a piece of dynamite. There's no way that's hitting you here. And if it does, you got really unlucky, because I tested this a few times. Because he seems to land it on top, and then you can just go down the stairs. The only time where that can even remotely be a bit of a problem, if the dynamite's kind of close, and when you go down the stairs, there's a guy on the left and he shoots you. But you should be shooting them yourself. Because the whole, point of this is be as aggressive as you can, put these guys down. This is the third spawn right here, and I think after the third spawn, it's the laws of the Mushroom Kingdom. We can then wait for the girl to move towards us after we've hit some people over there. I use my concentration as I'm losing it. There's nobody else. We've got some stuttering going on here, guys, that, once again, not much I can do. And the moment she starts moving, you've won. So all you need to do now is wait for her to finish what she's doing. It's going to transition to the final quick draw of the game, which is against Barnsby, who, if you've been following the story, you'll see how wonderfully well written it's been up to this point of intricately placing them all together. And you might have thought that was quite quiet just then, that whole segment. Well, I turned the speech off because they shout at you the whole fucking time you're doing this. And I got so pissed off at Thomas shouting at me that I turned the gobs off. And I recommend you do the same, guys. You're missing nothing. It's just tedious. And whenever you repeat a checkpoint where there's a dialogue line, if you repeat that checkpoint enough, it makes you want to kill yourself. But we're just waiting on a trigger, and there it is. So here we go. This is the hardest quick draw in the game, because it's the last one, However, for whatever reason, I managed to get this one pretty good. He moves around a lot. He's just constantly moving. It's also one of the longest, most delayed bells. So hopefully you get it sooner rather than later. But I'm not going to tell you it's fun or interesting, because I feel like the computer loses these matches and they still win. But keep him in the centre, wait for it, and then put him down. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is my walkthrough Call of Juarez, Bound in Blood, very hard difficulty. I hope you enjoyed it, thank you for watching, and you take care now.